This is Channels Television's breaking news.
CTH breaking news. I'm Hanate Wakuzo Tarashiki Teriyaki Suzuki Honda Civic Junior. The what? Ontario is officially in crisis. People's favorite franchise, Ben's Fish and Chips, has just shut down. We've got a hold of Mr. Nambit himself to shed some light onto this terrible news.
Thank you, Honda. This decision all comes down to the trout and perches that we use to make our fried fish. The killer shrimp that have invaded our Great Lakes years ago have brought along deadly parasites with them that are taking out their natural predators, the poor trout and perch. These killer shrimps are dying and contaminating the waters, which is deceasing other fish as well. We can't serve deceased fish to the people, and we can't even import the fish to sell because then we won't be making any profit. So ultimately, we are forced into the decision of closing down. All because of the ignorance of our own people in the fishing industry who don't give a damn about the killer shrimps. I'm sorry, cut the camera out. I can't.
The killer shrimp that Mr. Nambit had mentioned has been hot used in Ontario for several years because we've done nothing about it since 2014. The shrimp are an aquatic invertebrate that are native to the Eastern Europe. Being just 1.2 inches in size, exactly like that, they're an invasive species that's taken over the Great Lakes. They are preyed on our blue-tailed damselfly nymphs, water boatmen, fish leeches, as well as the smaller fish and eggs of our much larger vertebrates. They don't eat them, but bite them with their large mandibles and kill them. The dead fish have broadened our Great Lakes and contaminated the waters. Some of our species are going extinct because of that. Fish or animals that prey on these shrimps are also prone to diseases because they are host to several microsporidian parasites. They reduce our biodiversity and completely collapse our food chain. So what do we do for the past 30 years of knowing this? Absolutely nothing. Since it was first found in 2014 in Lake Michigan, we have watched it spread all over the Great Lakes in areas that the researchers said it would. The temperature barrier that once prevented them has been broken by climate change and allowed them to move up north. Can you believe this, Grandma? The province has not responded well either. We've got a hold of two very different members of our community to show you just how big of a problem this is. That's your cue, Mrs. Rashid. Grandma, when did you give an interview?
Thank you, darling. It's just a pity. Salmon pesto is so high now, and I can't feed my grandkids the same fish I used to eat. They say we can't swim in Lake Ontario. Like, they say something about the killer shrimp contaminating water and whatnot. How are these kids supposed to experience the same joys I used to experience? You know, like when you were a child.
Thank you, man. What she's trying to say in English is that the contaminated waters and diseased fish have made aquatic recreation unsafe. Waterborne pathogens are entering humans and developing into illnesses and diseases. It's a pity that this generation can't enjoy the Great Lakes like we once used to. Yeah, that's what I said. Now here's another person who was once an independent fisherman. The introduction of killer shrimp has decreased biodiversity and affected the fishing industry immensely. Diseased trout and perch dominate the lakes along with killer shrimp. There's no room for salmon or cod anymore, and other fishes are reaching extirpation. Commercial harvest of fish in the Great Lakes brought $234 million to our economy in 2011. Now here's the state of a member who once belonged to the primary fishing industry, which has collapsed 30 years later.
I wish I could go back to the good old days.
It's a pity. It's a pity how far we have fallen as a province. All we needed to do was regulate the ships that were coming into Great Lakes, emptying their tanks and replacing with seawater that would have killed these freshwater dependent shrimps. We could have had stricter regulations on the ballast water of ships, where these shrimps thrive. We did have electrical pulse systems that pushed them away, but that was not enough. We could have made sure we weren't carrying any aquatic species when moving to different water bodies. We didn't monitor live trade or have strict regulations over the importation of plants and animals that were used as bait fish and aquarium pets. We ignored them because of the high costs. I'm blaming every single person watching this right now and myself for letting this happen. We could have inspected our boats, trailer, and equipment after fishing. We could have cleaned them with high pressure or hot water, and even let it dry in the sun for a couple of days. All we did to stop the spread of killer shrimp was to prohibit it and put it under the Invasive Species Act. We didn't take any action to stop it. It only took 2 female killer shrimps to produce a viable population that would go on to destroy the Great Lakes ecosystem. And the 14 million of us that were watching just let it happen. It's been Hanate Wakuzo Tarashiki I'm signing off, Hamilton. Good night.
Oh, darling. If only we can go back in time to fix this.
Who are you? Doesn't matter. It's time to make the Great Lakes wait again.